The Snowball is a biography of a famous titan. Warren Buffett has been wealthy for over 70 years, but hasn't written a memoir. This book is the first to access Buffett's life stories and lessons. The result is a book with financial advice and life tips. Buffett's simple life intrigued the media. His public image was simple, genuine, and trustworthy. The truth was different. Buffett has a complicated past. He seemed genuine because he spoke simply and passionately. A loyal group of friends made him seem more average. Buffett was a good businessman. He couldn't be friends with everyone and earned a reputation as a tough businessman. This ability to appeal to the media while being successful made him a well-known businessman. Buffett valued simple pleasures. He was often invited to the Sun Valley Conference, an elite event. Many were distracted by who had been disinvited since the last conference. Buffett liked the beauty of Sun Valley. It was his ideal family vacation spot. He reunited with his family during one of their rare times. Buffett's growing wealth made others listen to his advice. His wealth was mostly in Berkshire Hathaway stock. Because he was so heavily invested in this stock, its price reflected his success. Near the end of 1999, many Buffett-style value investors invested heavily in technology stocks. Many did well, but many chose the wrong stocks. Buffett's confidence helped him avoid these stocks and stick to what he knew. His inner confidence paid off. He's richer than those other investors. Warren comes from a family of climbers. The first known Buffett in the New World was John. He was a Huguenot-descended weaver. In the 17th century, John fled religious persecution to America. In Huntington, Long Island, he farmed. His sons were all traders. They weren't professional or merchant class. He was born in 1903. Howard majored in journalism at the University of Nebraska and became a politician. Then Howard married Warren's mother, Leila Starhal. Leila and Howard raised curious Warren. He enjoyed interesting dinner conversation. Warren's smart parents encouraged him to attend reputable schools. Warren was born into the right environment and time to make lots of money. Buffett accepts that his family has many grafters. He thinks his parents were the best. He still thinks he created some reality. Warren doesn't think his parents helped him become wealthy out of love. Because of how his parents treated him, Warren was drawn to math. At Buffett's dinner table, only politics, money, and philosophy were allowed. His siblings and he would never kiss goodnight. Leila treated her kids coldly. She became more hostile after Howard left for work. Warren and his sister were playing or getting dressed when their mother exploded. She didn't beat them, but called them worthless, ungrateful, and selfish. Warren's mother's treatment of him and his sister left him emotionally scarred. His dad protected him. When he was around, Leila wasn't as aggressive. Warren's mother's abuse led him to math. He was fascinated by seconds by age 6. He loved watches. Buffett enjoyed learning. He attended Rose Hill School to escape his mother's abuse. He made friends and liked school. This enjoyment was paired with intelligence and competitiveness. He was sensitive and disliked sports. He cried if people were mean to him, so he always sought approval. Warren faced both home and school-related adversity. His stomach hurt one evening. Buffett needed surgery that night after seeing a doctor. It burst. Warren wouldn't be alive if the doctor hadn't rushed the surgery. Warren learned from adversity. He remembers echoing a trumpet player while playing the cornet at a school performance. His duo sounded off. Warren froze, unsure whether to mimic the wrong note or play the right one. He learned a life lesson that day. Echoing others is easier until they play a wrong note. Buffett was an early entrepreneur. The first few cents he made were from selling gum at school. At 6, he began. He read Barron's the Trader and Howard's finance books. A 1940 visit to Wall Street sparked his passion for finance. After a crash, Wall Street was busy and competitive. Thus, Warren's meeting with Sidney Weinberg was unique. One of Wall Street's most famous men asked a young Buffett about his favorite stock. He was surprised Weinberg would listen to a child and ask for his opinion. This experience pushed him into finance. He then visited the Benson Library to read financial material. 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000 fascinated Warren. He discovered compound interest then. Buffett gained confidence that he could become wealthy after learning he could make big money from small investments. Soon after, he told Stu Erickson he'd be a millionaire by 35. Warren was a well-behaved student. Junior high brought rebelliousness. His antisocial friends stole from Sears. They weren't broke. Because of the buzz, Buffett's parents removed his money to stop his delinquency. Warren's father's disappointment devastated him. Warren stopped slacking after hearing these words. Warren's parents watched him after he misbehaved. They wanted to fix him. He did this by investing again. After Roosevelt's death, the country mourned. Warren saw an opportunity to make money. Special newspapers were published. He hustled to be a street vendor. Warren was out selling papers while others mourned. This made him wealthy. He delivered 500,000 newspapers for $5,000. This much money in the 1940s helped start the snowball effect. This money grew his snowball. Warren had a plan by high school. Among 350 graduates, he ranked 16th. His yearbook caption was Future Stockbroker. Warren's parents forced him to attend Penn's Wharton School. Despite his wishes, they made him live with a roommate named Chuck to prepare him for college life. Chuck grew tired of his sloppiness and immaturity, but grew fond of him. He took care of him. Chuck thought Warren was immature but a prodigy because he could memorize information from lectures. Warren, showing off, turned in his accounting exam before the proctors finished. Warren isn't a fan of formal education, but he became interested in Harvard Business School while at Wharton. He saw Harvard as a way to gain prestige and future connections. Warren failed. He thought Harvard wanted stock experts, not leaders. He was rejected by Harvard, but accepted by Columbia. Buffett met Benjamin Graham at Columbia. Buffett read Northern Pipeline multiple times at age 10. Before Graham's investing career, he did this. As he read Graham's work, his admiration grew. Buffett hoped to bond with his new teacher. Buffett challenged his teacher's views. Graham's module taught stock market basics. Graham argued that a company's true value can be determined by examining shareholder rights. He insisted that students buy stocks below liquidation value. Buffett disagreed with this. He wanted to invest in companies with growth potential. Buffett became well known in the 1960s. He could make a stubborn company successful. Buffett became famous for making his partners wealthy too. He exceeded his goal of becoming a millionaire by 35. 30-year-old him was a millionaire. His early 1960s were marked by grief despite his success. Kennedy was killed in 1963. It was hard for the country and the stock market too. The death of Howard Buffett made things worse. Warren was shocked, but he pushed on. Buffett was world famous 30 years later. In 1993, he joined the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce's Business Hall of Fame. He kept working hard despite his success. He joked he'd work after death. He loathed retirement. His workaholism hurt his marriage. In addition to awards, the 90s made Buffett a hero. 1991 was a bad year for Salomon Inc. Buffett's company bought a 12% stake in the bank. The US Treasury learned that one of Salomon's traders submitted false bids to buy more Treasury bonds than permitted. The fine was $190 million. Instead of defending Salomon and ignoring the Treasury, Buffett became its chairman and worked with it. After testifying in Congress, he was called a hero. Society praised him for embracing regulators and law enforcers instead of avoiding a scandal he wasn't even involved in. Buffett proved that honesty and mistakes pay off. After this, Berkshire stock soared past $10,000 per share and became $4.4 billion. Buffett and Susie weren't close. Buffett was more committed to his work than to her, she thought. He spent as much time as possible with her when she had stage 3 oral cancer. He missed work to help her. This taught him to be generous. Buffett's marriage lessons survived Susie's death from cancer complications. Buffett learned to face death and connect with his kids. He acknowledged that compounding money to give later may not be the best option. Sometimes it's better to give money to others now. Buffett became more generous and started giving to charities in memory of Susie. Buffett gave away 85% of his Berkshire Hathaway stock on June 26, 2006. This $37 billion was given to foundations. This was the largest gift in philanthropy's history. Buffett learned that building a snowball can make you wealthy, but you must be willing to share with others. The Snowball explores Warren Buffett's life. It's about a man whose difficult upbringing pushed him toward numbers and finance. Buffett's wealth grew through self-belief and financial foundations. He's learned life lessons. He learned that the best part of snowballing your wealth is giving to those in need.